Well, hello everyone, and you join us here today with our colouring pens and pencils at the ready because we've been given an exercise. I've not been told to do something like this since I was in school, Tom.
Yeah, so are you referring to the global design competition to design your own Royal Oak?
Watchy McWatchface. Yes, I am talking about that. This is the opportunity Audemars Piguet has offered everyone to do their work for them and design a Royal Oak dial. I've only seen that this is a thing. I don't know any of the details, Tom. I don't know if you can furnish us with those.
Yeah, so I was looking into it, and the competition is being hosted and run by WristCheck, which is a online watch blog platform type thing and boutique, I think. And it's run by Austin Chu, who was chatting to the Audemars Piguet CEO, Francois-Henri Benamias, and it's quite funny, actually. On the chat, they're just having a usual kind of podcasty chat about how's it going, how's AP going, that sort of thing. And then Francois just says, hey, you know what we should do? We should do a design competition. Can you handle it? And Austin, bless him's like, great idea. I mean, if it would have been me, I would have been like, yeah, good luck with that. That's a level of spontaneity I cannot handle.
Was the tone more like, as in terms of an interview, I think you're struggling with designs. Well, yeah, you have a go then, see how you get on. Or is it more like, what designs have you got next? And then the CEO's like sweating, going, oh, I'm not really sure. Oh, I know. Why don't you come up with the next one?
No, it seemed pretty organic. I think they were talking actually about complications and new innovations in that sort of area. And then he was like, oh, that's a great idea, actually. We should have a competition. So, but I think they've sort of spun it out more broadly into just, design your own dial, choose materials, complications, colours, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, a bit of fun, but it's a level of spontaneity that worries me greatly. So well done to Austin for running with it. So you can design a Royal Oak, download the template, colour it in any which way you want, make notes about what materials and things you want. You've got until Sunday the 6th of November to do this. And 3 winning designs will be chosen. If you're one of the lucky winners, you can win a round-trip business class flight ticket for you and a guest to Le Brassus, Switzerland, for a full Audemars Piguet Le Brassus experience. This includes an all-inclusive 2-day stay at the Hotel de Horloges. Mm-hmm. That's their fancy AP hotel, isn't it?
Sure.
I'm sure that means something to someone. As well as visits to the Audemars Piguet manufacturer and Musée Atelier Audemars Piguet. An opportunity to meet Francois himself and Austin Chu to discuss the experience. And finally, depending on feasibility, Audemars Piguet may, at its sole discretion, decide to produce the watch. I mean, the trip's good enough. You don't need your watch made, do you? It's just fun to colour stuff in and go on a trip if you win.
If they make you a watch, do you have to pay RRP for it?
I like the idea that you'll be put on a waiting list to receive your own watch.
Don't even make the waiting list. Whilst this whole thing alarms me with the same sort of level of as your bank manager asking you what they should do with the money you've invested, I love this. I like colouring in. I like thinking of ideas. And I like having a sense that maybe I might influence a big brand like AP. So I've been very much looking forward to getting stuck into this. And I understand you have too, Tom. So, dear viewer and listener, we have come up with some ideas and we are going to share them with each other live, pre-recorded, but live right now amongst each other and with yourselves. So, Tom, do you mind if I go first?
Go on, what have you got?
Let me give you some context. Before I show you what I've come up with, I would like to explain some of my thinking. In the watch industry, some of my favourite designs for dials really come from a place of nature. Inspiration from some of the greatest landscapes and natural features there are in the world, and I think that AP has always gone down a quite artificial line. That waffle dial is very straight-laced, it's very manufactured, and I think we could see a benefit from that angular case holding a window into something more organic and natural, which is why for my first design I have decided to create something rather new. This is a collaboration between Audemars Piguet and Grand Seiko. This is the Snow Oak.
Right.
Initial thoughts?
I'd have to check the rules, but I'm not sure if copying and pasting existing dials into the template is allowed.
Well, you didn't say it in that brief blurb. You didn't say I couldn't, so I'm assuming I can.
Right.
Here it goes. They might be able to change the Grand Seiko branding, perhaps. That might be a suggestion that I throw along with this.
Yeah.
But my Photoshop skills aren't good enough to do that for them. And they have a big fancy shiny building and a hotel. I have neither of those things. So I was going to leave that. This is like the genesis of an idea, Tom. You've got your spring drive. You've got your power reserve. You've got your date. You've got your big hands. And of course, you've got the icy tundra of somewhere beautiful in Japan that I can't quite remember.
Yeah. It's
good.
It's interesting.
Great. Yep.
I'd like to see. I don't think it's right for this competition. I don't think it's right for AP. But I would like to see Grand Seiko try out octagonal cases. That would be quite cool.
Do you think I might be able to win 2 competitions with this? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, Tom, if you think you're so great, why don't you show me yours?
Okay. So I had a similar notion to you in that I wanted to get that waffle dial back to basics and give it more of an organic feel. So this is a waffle dial, and this is a nice caramel waffle that you could find in any roadside diner. It features a white ceramic plate-like case. The octagonal screws here are blueberry coloured and raspberry coloured, which you might find adorning your waffle at said diner.
Very appetising.
But the one thing that occurred to me is designing watches is really hard. It's I think we take them for granted quite a lot, and it's quite hard to come up with ideas. But that's mine.
Well, Tom, there's one thing that I have learnt in my brief period in designing watches, which is you should never design watches hungry. Do you think it would have been a little too on the nose to make the hands a knife and fork?
Yeah, that would have been great. I'm a little bit annoyed that the template didn't include hands, so I had to draw my own, which I hate drawing hands. No one likes drawing hands. It's really hard to draw hands.
I like it. And you know what? I think they'd make this.
Yeah.
I like the colours. I like the modernity of the white ceramic. I, if you recall from our previous conversation, am a more positive person now generally.
Yeah.
So I think what you've got here is definitely something in the right direction. Can you imagine that? Not only liking the watch because it looks good, but because it looks tasty.
I mean, that's what attracts me to a lot of watches, isn't it? We often say, if a watch looks edible, that's a good thing.
Exactly. If it gives me the desire to put it in my mouth, you have succeeded.
I think this might have gone a bit too far in that direction, though. But
yeah. Does it have any scratch and sniff ability?
Scratch resistance.
Well, Tom, you've set the bar very, very high and very syrupy there, so I'm going to come at you now with my next design.
Go on.
So I spoke before about how the original waffle dial is quite... It's aggressive, it's sharp, it's crisp, and I think, considering most of the people who will be able to afford this watch will be getting towards their latter years, I might bring that down a bit, soften it up a bit, make it something a little bit more familiar. So I chose to evolve the waffle dial into the very familiar, to older people, blister pack dial.
Ooh!
This will not only give you a new approach to the very famous AP waffle dial, but it will remind you as an older person to take all of the pills that you should in the morning. And perhaps there can be a complication here whereby the watch itself will tell you which pill to take and when, so you don't look at all the packets you've got and wonder, did I take my pill today? I can't remember. The other thing I've done here is you'll notice I've taken away the date. This usually has a date on it, but it's gone. Because when you're old, you don't really want to know what the date is because it's just counting down to your inevitable demise. So I thought, why bother? You're retired, you're trying to stretch that out as long as possible. You don't need to know the date. You'll also notice it's really hard to read the time on as well. Same thing. You don't need the time. You just want to remember to take that pill that's going to give you more of it.
Right.
Thoughts, Tom?
Were you on pills when you designed this?
Possibly. I can't remember if I took them or not.
I like it. It looks very tactile. I think the sapphire crystal might end up with a load of thumbprints on it because the urge to actually pop the dial would be too strong. It's very nice. I thought it was bubble wrap at first. That would have been good as well.
Bubble wrap would have been better. I was also inspired by the non-slip bath mat that a lot of older people have in their baths.
What's the sudden obsession with old people? What are you trying to say about AP?
Let's move on. Tom, what's your next design?
So, I thought my last dial was a little bit safe, so I've sort of pushed the boat out a little bit more. But so I've kept the watch and its features a little bit safer to sort of counterbalance the dial. So I've just gone for a simple steel case, just a two-hander, no date. The dial depicts Chuck Norris dragon punching a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and then you've got Hans Wilsdorf going toasty at the side of the dial there, in awe of the tremendous action. I've got a manga-style explosion textured dial. That's actually a powdered silver dial painted orange. You can see that Chuck has his famous red Converse and jeans and vest combo, and he's also wearing his prized Rolex Hulk sub as well. Which I think, if you want to have a successful watch, you've got to sort of get Rolex in there somewhere. So yeah, I was pretty happy with the way it came out.
I'm actually trying to hold back tears from laughing too loud into the microphone. Tom, I think you've solved watchmaking.
You reckon?
I think that's it. I think that's game over. I don't think there's anywhere else that you could go from here. I don't think that you'll be allowed to submit this to the competition because the fear of just closing down the entire Swiss watch industry. We've been around watches for a very long time, Tom. I'm struggling to handle it. Imagine what a guy on the street, a normal person, would react to this. They would just explode.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm glad you like it. I will submit it. I hope Francois and Austin like it too. I mean, if you don't use it, Invicta will. So, yeah.
Oh, I sincerely hope that when they do make this, and they will if they have any sense, that they print your original file onto paper and stick that in, because I think that will give it the best effect. Tom, I've got one more design for you, and this is one I took a lot of consideration around. I think the Royal Oak is a very prestigious watch. It means a lot to the industry.
Sure.
It really has a place, both from the perspective of saving it, but also being endearing. It's something that has had highs and lows, but we've all ultimately come to realise is a very special watch. And I do want to take that seriously.
Yeah.
We have our fun and games for sure, but it's important to respect this watch.
Absolutely, yeah. I couldn't agree more. With that said, I can't wait to see what you've come up with.
So this is my final design. This is the design I think Audemars Piguet should go with, and I mean that very sincerely. Because whilst you and I can come up with great stuff, I don't think there's any better design than the original one. Just stick with the original one, please.
Oh.
Stop mucking about.
Right. Are you saying...
Here's what I'm saying, Tom. We're idiots. Don't ask us.
Yeah.
We've got no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, we proved that 10 times over.
Dear viewer and listener, I hope you agree with us. We do know absolutely nothing about what we're doing. I'd like to see what you think perhaps AP should do. Should they be offering out designs at all? If you have a cool design, I'd say post it in the comments below, but you can't do that, so maybe describe it, in fact. And whilst you're describing it, you can describe your way to the subscribe button too. And we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.